Welcome back to the Shipyard. Today we are talking about the Sakharov, the Federation Type 7 shuttlecraft from Peak Performance. It has 1 attack, 2 agility, 2 hull, and 2 shields. The named ability is at the start of the game during the Gather Forces step. You may purchase 1 additional crew or tech upgrade for this ship. This upgrade may exceed the ship's restrictions, and it costs -2 squad points to a minimum of 0. The ship has very slow maneuvers, every 1 and 2, and that's it. But the key to shuttlecrafts are not in any of the stats. You care about it because it lets you dock. Docking on shuttlecrafts works when you overlap another ship. You may transfer upgrades between the ship and the shuttlecraft, and when you do, you get an auxiliary power token. Now, you go, wait a minute, this breaks a whole bunch of stuff. This breaks the 50-point rule. This breaks faction purity. Yep, and that's why this is really, really good. So, watch out for shuttlecraft. The generic loses a shield, loses the named ability. If you're looking for filler, or you're looking for an extra ship to transport upgrades, go ahead and take it. But if you only need 1, you might as well take the Sakharov because you pay for the extra points with the named ability anyways. It's important to note that shuttlecraft require a carrier ship just like fighters, so you have to have a ship with a hull value of 4 or greater for every shuttlecraft and for every fighter squadron. We get 1 captain in this pack, and that is skill 3 data with 1 talent slot. He costs 2 points. He is now tied with Magnus Hansen for the cheapest talent carrier in the game. At the start of the game, place 1 evade, scan, and battle stations token on this card. During the activation phase, you may take 1 of these tokens off this card and place it beside your ship, even if there is already 1 there. Pretty nice ability. If you think about it, over the course of the game, you have about 8 to 10 turns, sometimes as few as 6. So data gives you flexibility to take some extra actions. He also works during the activation phase, and you're not actually doing the action, so you can do it even if you have auxiliary power, even if you bump. A lot of flexibility for a 2-point captain. Definitely somebody to look at. Really a nice captain option under Officer Exchange Program. You do Federation and something else, then he becomes a 1-point captain. Certainly worth a look. Our elite talent is Computer Analysis. During the planning phase, you may discard this card to remove all the disable upgrade tokens from all of your other upgrades. This is one of those elite talents that is a safety. If you're running, say, a Phlox crew disable build, I could maybe see this as the elite talent that Jonathan Archer takes as part of his action crew disable, get more attack die, get higher captain skill builds. But this only works once. It's a discard. So it's not the best card. But it's still something that might have a place mission oriented if you're seeing a ton of stuff disable. It does only work on upgrades, so it won't re-enable an admiral or a captain. But even then, if you have a bunch of crew or tech or some weapons that are getting disabled, Computer Analysis works wonders. Our crew is Cerna Kolrami. When defending during the compare results step, if you cancel all of your opponent's hit and crit results, you may discard this card and disable 1 of your other upgrades to immediately roll a number of attack dice equal to the number of hits and crits that were canceled, up to 4. The attacking ship suffers normal damage for every hit or crit result that you roll with these dice. So the nice thing here is that they don't roll defense back, so this kills cloakers. But the bad thing is, at least to the best of my knowledge, that you can't do anything to modify these dice. You're not making an attack, so you can't modify the dice. There's no range bonus. The only thing that would really work is Benjamin Sisko, lets you reroll an attack dice. So anything that lets you just get a reroll of attack dice, because they're dice, not because you're making an attack, would work. He's something that's going to work well with enhanced hull plating and a ship that naturally has high evade, maybe an ISS Defiant, a Julian Bashir, Rebellion, things like that will absorb a hit and then allow you to deal out some damage. He's pricey at 5 points, so I don't expect to see him a lot. But if you want to tailor a build to making him hit back hard, you could certainly do it. I'd include Goval or Lee Nollis, somebody that you can disable or discard instead of your crew so that you can use Kohlrami multiple times, because I wouldn't want to tailor a build just to a single discard. The Sakharov does come with 2 tech cards. The first one is Warp Drive. During the activation phase, if you reveal a 2 straight, you may disable this card to do a white 3 straight or a red 4 straight instead. This upgrade can only be purchased for a Federation Shuttlecraft, and no ship can have more than 1. It's okay if you're not planning on docking your shuttle and leaving it docked forever. Outside of that, the only real purpose is trying to have your shuttle play catch-up or having your shuttle play ferry between 2 ships if you're really trying to move an upgrade between ships. I wouldn't use this in anything other than missions, though. And the last upgrade is Escape Transporter. When your ship is destroyed, before removing it from the play area, you may discard this card to target a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 that is not cloaked and disable all of the ship's remaining shields. Select up to 3 other upgrades that were deployed to this ship and redeploy them to the target ship, even if it exceeds the ship's restrictions. And this upgrade can only be purchased for a Federation Shuttlecraft. So Escape Transporter is one of those safety net cards because the Shuttlecraft is relatively easy to destroy. It doesn't work if you fly off the board, so you need some way of getting the ship targeted. Bashir works for that. Flying into your own antimatter mines works for that if you're going to be cheesy about it. Still, the ability to move crew is pretty nice. I think that Escape Pod that came on the Pegasus is probably a more efficient way of doing it, but that only moves captain and crew. This will let you move any upgrades. So it just depends on if you're willing to take the Shuttlecraft versus any ship. Kind of becomes a your preference call. So overall, Sakharov, definitely a pack worth having. Changed the game in a wonderful way. We're not going to see another shuttle until Quark's Treasure comes out in several months. Once that comes out, the Sakharov may be less important to get. It's really hard to argue with a ship that won Worlds. I'm not going to go into details of that build, but it was a key component. If you don't want it for the ship, then you're still getting this and data and computer analysis, and even Kohlrami open up some options. They're definitely viable cards for non-shuttle builds. Warp Drive and Escape Transporter are shuttle only. But all 3 of those cards are mission playable at least, and I think data could have a place on certain tournament builds, at least OP builds, probably not regionals and up builds, but he wouldn't be my last choice for Federation Captain. So the cards in this pack give you options, and that is always a good thing. I hope that you've learned how to better utilize something in this pack. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care, guys.